We're in between ice fishing and open water fishing right now. We haven't been out. Been flooding conditions in many of our rivers and streams around here, so we haven't really got started trout fishing yet. So I've been working on a little project to mount some of the deer antlers that I have not had time to take care of it as of yet. And so I'll show you a little bit of the process of cleaning the skulls off a little, and the skull caps, and getting them ready to mount on a plaque and cover with some kind of a skull cap covering to make them look a little better. But hope you enjoy this particular kind of video. Hi folks, I got a couple of sets of antlers here. One nice 8-pointer and the 10-pointer that I got this past fall. I'm just going to try to clean these up a little bit today. I'll show you some of that activity and show you the end product when it's done. But as you can see, the 10-pointer is smaller than the 8-pointer, but we'll see how it goes. This one has been drying for quite some time. I don't know how well this will come off, but we'll see. Pretty dry, but sometimes the dry leather will cut better than the green leather. There we go. It'll take a while to do these. I oftentimes don't have time right at the end of the season to skin them all the way down. So have some membrane inside the skull as well that will have to be taken off. But basically that's what we have to do, is get this cut away, cut off in chunks if I have to, and then clean up the skull. And I have plaques to mount it on. You can see what that's basically a good stiff rawhide that's on there at this point. And I'm going to keep working on this. I'm not going to bore you with the whole details of it. I'll come back after I've got them cleaned up. Okay, here's the two of these somewhat cleaned up. That to let them dry out just a little bit more. There's still a little, this one's a little damp, and I have to take and kind of trim them up a little bit, cut that off there and in here, just to make it fit on the plaque a little better. Put it right here, and then this one do the same thing, cut it down a little bit here and here, and then I'll probably take some off the back of the skull. One thing you want to do when you're cleaning these out is in the brain cavity, there's this membrane that's in there, and that holds a lot of odor and just plain nastiness, so you have to peel that out of there, get that out of there before you mount them. And the other thing is you have to get all the sinus cavity cleaned out, because those also carry a lot of odor and bacteria and stuff to cause problems. But since I'm going to cut this off, I'll probably eliminate most of that whole front part there. It's kind of ugly anyway. But they're ready to be trimmed up and made ready for the plaques that I've got in the house for them. And there's no sense throwing away good antlers like these, even though they're nothing too special. They're still pretty good representation for the area in which we hunt all the time. And this one here, this one was a 10-point, small 10-point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 points on this. And even though it's smaller, I think it's 13 and a half inches across from the outside to outside. And this one is only an 8-point, a little bit bigger than this. This deer here weighed pretty close to 200 pounds. 4 days after I let it hang, I weighed it and it was still 185 pounds. So I would say that it was pretty close, if not just over 200-pound deer. It's big body deer and heavy. But that's part of what I've been working on here the last hour or so. And I've got one more like this upstairs from a couple years ago when the last time I went hunting down to Pennsylvania. I got one a little bit larger than this. It's about 17. This one is about 15 inches across, and I think that one was about 17 inches across. And that one would be the last one that I got when I was hunting down in Pennsylvania. But we'll put them all on plaques, and I'll come back and show them to you when we get them mounted up. I'm going to trim these up here just to give you an idea. Hopefully I can saw fairly well along that line, and then along this line, and then I'll probably cut across there. Best I can. Let's see about that one. This one, I just have to trim them up a little bit. This one along that line there, and about there. Makes it just about right. Okay, so just try to get them trimmed off so they're a little bit better. The back end of this one I'm going to leave as it is. That cleans it up a little bit and makes a more uniform skull cap. What I usually do, I don't use plaster, wood putty, or anything of that sort. I usually use polyfill, which is used in pillows and quilting and things like that. And I lay polyfill a couple thicknesses over this and put my leather or cloth or whatever I'm going to put on it over top of that. It makes it nice, smooth, nice, soft looking finish to the mount. See if we can get this one done as well and be all set. This one, yeah, we can take a little bit off that front, I think. That one still doesn't want to quite set flat, but it'll be better that way. In order to mount those 2 or 3 antlers, sets of antlers that I have, I took some of these very simple pine shields, plaques that were purchased at a local craft store, and stained them, and then I put on a clear gloss finish, and that will be what they will be. Give you an idea. Look pretty well like that. There we go. Something like that. And hanger on the back and such, and covering over the skull clip cap as well. But now I'm going to cut just a small piece off this. I've got it marked already. It'll go inside. It'll go inside the skull cap, right in here, like that. That small piece will sit in there, and then I can put a screw through that into the shield, but also I can put a couple of screws from the back of the shield into the block to make it more solid. Okay, after we have these blocks well glued on, a nice solid place, fit the skull cap over the block, the position I want it in. Take a drill and using the screw that we're going to use, a drill that's just a little bit smaller than or the same size as the center core of the screw. Have it so it's balanced good, it's there where it wants it. Let's drill through the skull cap and into the block and into the plaque. Well, get a new battery first. Switch over to the bit to drive it with. Anchor it with one screw right there. block split a little bit, but that's okay. Move it in there. That shows you the look of the black. I've got the other one done here, like so. The rest of this I can do inside. I have to go in, I'll put the filler that I want to use around the skull cap, make a pattern for the covering, and put it in place. Fits around, doesn't have to go all the way around the base of the horns, the antlers, but with that in place, this gets tucked in under the skull cap. Then we can pull it right down, tuck it into this side, get it glued on if you want to. It's a lot of work for nothing, but makes for a nice, smooth looking cap. Then we take something like brown paper, as we take brown paper, we take and make a pattern for the actual covering. And each one will be different. I mean, obviously the distance between horns is different, the length that you cut it is different. All these things are different, so you have to make one for each mount that you're going to make. And you want to make it big enough that it covers the whole thing. Get a pencil quickly. What I do is I simply press it down until I feel the base of the antlers. Make a mark right where that base is. Then the other side, right where that base is. Make a circle about the size of the antlers, however big they are. Then I cut it out. Also, and what you end up with is this top, bottom. It should, with a little bit of tweaking, should be able to put it over. It should go around there pretty good. And with leather, you can stretch it to make it come out the way you want to. Now, what you're going to do after you have it covered, poke all that white inside, but you're going to take something, leather or rope or something, and put it around here underneath the knurled part, just to be decorative and to cover up any spaces you have. But this is basically done correctly without having a preformed, and any preformed skull cap you might have is not going to fit all skulls exactly, so it'll be nice and smooth by the time I'm finished. To cut out the covering for the skull cap, find whatever leather you want to use, and pick out the best site for the covering. Just trace it out and then cut it out with a pair of scissors. And this is deer hide, tan deer hide, deer I shot quite a few years ago, but I like the deer hide because it processed deer hide, not raw hide, but deer hide that's been tanned, and it stretches, makes a nice fit for the skull cap. It stretches around where it ought to, and you can make these holes here just a little bit smaller in diameter because they're going to stretch as well around the antlers base. Then just cut it out. This one is for the 8-point, the little larger one that I got, and yeah, there's not that much difference between the two of them. Let's see how it fits, and I can show you a little bit how we stretch it and get it to. Excuse me, this is for the 10-point. This is not the 8-point. You can put that on the top, back there, or the bottom, either way you want to put it. Like I said, we'll stretch these things down so that they fit well. And you'll see that it smooths right out. Form it a little bit. You can put a piece of rope or leather, latigo or something like that around. Here's the second one. Now, if you want it a little tighter, you can put a little more batting in there underneath it all, and put a little more to cover in there. But this is what this will look like as I pull it down all ways, and I can stretch it out and make a nice smooth covering with that.